Today we're going to talk about using video in your classroom, and specifically I'll be detailing and showing you guys some different things you can do with your free YouTube account that you have as part of your WIU Google Apps for Education account. So just getting started, how many of you guys are already implementing the use of video into your classroom, and in what ways are you currently using it?
If I start first, I am using some short clips from my textbook's DVD.
Okay.
Just a few minutes of like a short problem solving.
Okay, great.
And I don't have my own yet, but I am planning.
I'm not really using it a whole lot. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
okay.
you.
I'm not using it a ton. I've shown some videos and things when I'm trying to make points about stuff, but I would like, as you know, I'm teaching a Zoom class this semester, and so I'd like to be able to incorporate that a little bit more, just to make it as interactive as possible for the people in class that are Zooming in. So.
Okay, great, great. So what we're going to start out with today is just talking about just using video in general with students, and some ways that are probably common sense, but you might have to think about it a little bit differently or pay a little bit more attention to make sure that the students are actually engaging with the video that you do provide them. And then we'll be moving on into specifically YouTube and how you can use YouTube to find video, but not only to find video, to also be able to create collections and share those with your class. So this is also in preparation for my next workshop in this series, which talks about TED Ed and designing interactive lessons around video. So it's kind of a precursor to that as well. So go ahead and get started with some of these tips and best practices. Just to start with, I'll always say that it's not just about the media. And so I start with that by just saying, you know, what typically happens with you guys when you ask your students to read a chapter out of the text and then come back to class the next meeting and you're going to discuss it? What kind of reaction do you typically get? None?
I mean, I've got the full range. You know, some students do that every week and they're prepared, and then I've got the students who, you know, are barely awake. So. Okay.
I think I had a similar experience. Some reads what I say to them, some doesn't read, you know, it's mixture.
Yep. Okay. How do we think that that's going to change by just giving them a video? Do we think that just giving them a video is going to change that?
I don't know, maybe it depends, you know. Sometimes, you know, I get some emails from my students that the clips that is available from the textbook is not, you know, exactly, you know, solving their problem. It's not exactly answering their problems. Mm-hmm. So they want maybe more in depth or in more detailed clips they want from me, actually.
Okay. So one of the things that I like to say is, you know, it's not just about the media, because you might get a little bit more viewing and seeing the video because maybe the students like to be more visual or auditory learners. But to me, it really comes down to what you show them how to do with whatever media you give them, whether it be a book or whether it be a video. So I say, rather than it just being about the media, it's going to be about the suitability of that video or whatever the media is. Guided practice is a huge one, and that's one that we'll talk about and have some ideas about today, but how you can kind of train and guide your students to use the video for education. And then also assessment of the concepts that are key to that particular video or media to ensure that they are going to engage with it and achieve. So one of the main things that I see being kind of the instructor's job when they're choosing these videos or delivering them or assigning them is what types of small activities you set to go along with them. So rather than just saying read, maybe they're going to have a handout to follow. Maybe they're going to have an integrated lesson like I will talk about in my next workshop. Maybe they'll have a quiz some type of cue points or key items that they actually have to do and respond to what they're learning. And that could be the same with a book. If you gave them a chapter to read, building something in there. So I think that really the practice of engaging them with that particular material. Today, we're specifically going to be talking about the video. So my next slide, we just talk a little bit about how you can actually prepare your students to watch a video. Because, you know, right now if we say, okay, go home and watch this video, well, I wonder how many of them lay down on the couch or, you know, have some popcorn. You know, they're used to watching video for entertainment, and we're not really talking about watching video for entertainment. We're talking about watching video to learn. So, you know, you may have to prepare them of how they should interact with and how they should watch that video. So here are some suggestions of how to get them to engage with the video. You want to think about how students should approach the video. So one thing that's very common sense, but you may not think about it and students may not, when you're watching a video for educational purposes, you have to understand that there's a rewind button, there's a pause button, and there's a fast forward button. So, you know, you tell them if you're listening to this video or you're watching this process and you don't understand it, you've got a video. You rewind it and you listen to it again. If you're watching a video and it's content that you know and you're getting bored and you're getting unmotivated, you can fast forward to a part that you're less knowledgeable with. If you need to stop and write something down, you can pause that video. So even the most basic thing of getting them to understand that they have control of that video so that they can interact and engage with it. How should they watch the video? And what should they be doing when watching the video? This is where you can start building in those small activities, okay? So next workshop, I'll talk about TED Ed, where at certain points in the video, you can actually have them do different things. You can trigger them to do different things. You could do the same very simply by adding a worksheet that goes with the video and telling them at a certain point in the movie or video, answer this question. You could add a social aspect in some actual interaction with other students by setting up a discussion board on Western Online or setting up a Twitter feed that asks them to respond to that social area at a certain point in the movie or at certain key points. So getting them to actually consume it in smaller chunks and having them interact throughout. That would work with any media, but especially video. You want to have them think about what comprehension strategies they should use to promote close viewing. So, you know, should they be listening for definitions? Should they be listening for key points? Should they actually stop and ask and reflect? You know, just some different strategies that they should be using. And what can they do to increase their comprehension and retention of the video? So taking notes, if you give them a worksheet, completing that worksheet, doing a mastery quiz afterwards, listening to the video and then them actually setting up some flashcards or something to help them remember key points if it's definition or something like that. So those are just a few things to think about going over with your students in order to prepare them to actually take in an educational video. And it's not something that they may be thinking about at the outset. So I don't know, have you guys ever done anything like that with your students when you've given them video to watch?
No, I haven't.
No?
I've done some discussion posts before, so
Okay.
had them watch a video and then talk about some things within the video and have it like a discussion post where they have to comment with their classmates and such. So
okay, good deal. Does this seem doable? I mean, I know to some people it's gonna be like, oh, well, that's really spoon feeding them. I guess the hope would be is if you're gonna be a person that's gonna start to use a lot of video in your classroom, just kind of starting out with this and showing them the right way, hopefully would keep them doing this. Obviously, if you can tie an assignment to them that they're going to get a small participation point grade or they're going to get some grade to it, they're more than likely to do that. But I would make it an assignment where they actually have to engage and do something, not something that's pretty easy for them just to watch and answer it.
Yeah.
make sure that the video is accessible to all students. So you have to be prepared if you're going to start using the video. If someone needs accommodations, you're going to have to make sure those are made in a timely format. So when it comes to video, that would have to be closed captioned or transcribed. You know, when possible, just do that from the start. I'm not going to be training you on that today, but there's a place in YouTube where you can actually close caption your videos and make them accessible. So I can do training on that. I'll just kind of touch on where it's at today. The video doesn't always have to be you. So I know you had mentioned, you know, might be making some of your own or have interests. That is great, and a lot of faculty are doing that, but by a rule of thumb, you can a lot of times find videos that's already been created that will provide exactly what you're needing. So don't recreate the wheel when those exist. You do always want to critically evaluate the video to make sure it meets the instructional needs, the quality that you're needing, and the learning level of your students. And I do have an evaluation sheet that I can send you guys if any of you are interested in that. I can just email it out after today. I hadn't included it, but I will send that out. It just gives you a list of different things to look at. That's also a very nice assignment if you ever have an assignment where you want students to go out and find video to share back with the class, because it gets them into the whole digital literacy and making sure that it's an acceptable resource. So it teaches that lesson as well. Really, the main times when you would need to make your own video would be if you need to convey something like a local message, if you need to provide localized content, or you can't find quality works available, or if you have a certain way of teaching the particular topic that you can't find anywhere else. So save those that you have to create for the things that you really feel you have to create. Don't feel that you have to go and create everything, because there are some things out there readily available that you can use. Okay, so moving on, that was just an overview. I'm just going to move into some specifics of what you guys are going to be able to do with YouTube before I get into show it. Before I do that, did you have any questions or any comments about the points I just shared? Okay. So how can you use YouTube in your classroom? First and foremost, you can use YouTube to search and curate high quality instructional videos. So you can go on YouTube and you can find those videos, and then you can create channels and playlists to classify those and then share those out with your students. So you can basically create compilations around different subjects or different lessons. You can also post and manage your self-created videos and also share that out with your students. When sharing your video on YouTube, you have options. You can make it public, which means that anyone can see it. You can make it unlisted. That means anyone that you give the link to can see it. Or you can make it private, which means only you are going to see it. So you have different options as far as public access to your videos. You can use videos that you create and upload to YouTube, or that you find on YouTube to create integrated video lessons. And that's going to be in the TED Ed tool that I'll talk about in my next workshop of this series. So some examples for pedagogy. So what can you use YouTube videos for? Creating a global connection. So if you want to be able to show cultural ideas, diversity, what's going on in different parts of the world, you can find all kinds of videos on YouTube that would allow you to do that and create that connection. If you could find a classroom across the globe, there's ability to do discussion and commenting on videos. There's also the ability to share and collaborate on playlists. So if you could actually find a classroom, you could have students here collaborate with students across the world on building these playlists or these curated videos on different topics. You can use it to enhance comprehension of complex topics. One of the things that's really nice about video is the way that you can find different videos that basically cover the same content, but at different levels. So you're able to differentiate for the students. So if you have someone learning a concept, but they really need something with maybe an easier, more basic vocabulary, but then you have someone on the other end of that that needs more challenging content, or maybe needs it to take it a little bit farther to keep them motivated, you can find different levels of the same type of content, and you can give that to your students. Using Western Online, you can use the groups feature and the release capabilities to actually give students different content without them really knowing they're getting different level content, unless they were to sit down next to each other and tell each other that. So that's something that you can use the video for. I've talked about that. You can use it to trigger unique and interesting discussions. So you can kind of use it as a discussion starter, which it sounds like, Michelle, you've done some of that.
Yeah.
You can create tutorial and review playlists. So with Zoom, which is one of the tools I teach, you can actually do screen recordings, and Zoom's what we're using right now. You can actually just turn it on and not connect with anyone and just hit the record button, and so you can create screen recordings. You can have it where you could actually be showing software to the students and record that, so you could create tutorials and review playlists for your students.
Actually, I did that,
What?
I just did that, a few weeks ago. Yeah, because I teach statistics and we use Excel sometimes.
Right.
And I was showing something on Excel screen, and I recorded that like about 15-20 minutes clip.
Yeah.
And I made it available to students if they wanted to see it.
Did they like it?
Yeah, they liked it,
Yeah.
Especially, there are places that there are things that they don't know exactly what's going on in Excel.
Right.
So they needed some information about that, where
Good.
to click, which button to click and so forth. Like
Good.
Yeah.
Good deal.
It was very nice, yeah.
Good.
And thank you for that, because I learned Zoom from you too.
Yeah.
Remember, I
Good.
attended your webinar.
Glad you're able to take it back
Yeah.
and do that. That's great.
Yes.
Here are some more best practices for using what you find on YouTube or using YouTube. Select short clips and use them to provide a context for a topic. Typically, depending on what the use of the video is, you really don't want to go over 5 to 10 minutes with your videos. Their attention will be gone. Some of them want to just watch the videos on their phone. That's fine for viewing, but sometimes it doesn't allow them to engage. So when I say short clips, maybe you have a 20-minute video, and that's okay. If you're using the strategies that we talked about in the beginning, where you give them something to do to engage. So at different points within the video, they're stopping and they're thinking and they're recalling and reflecting. So when I say short clips, if you're going to have them watch a video straight through, I wouldn't go over 5 or 10 minutes. With those longer videos, you can help by doing the chunking, by giving them an activity to do at different points in the video or something to think about. With YouTube, we do recommend that you use it to archive, manage, and share the videos so that they're in a logical order for the students. So you could have screencasts, course lectures, different units or different topics set up in your YouTube playlist, and you can actually share that right through Western Online. So I'll be showing an example of that. Review with your students the appropriate way to use and watch the video. We talked about that. And I just talked about creating channels or playlists to classify and manage all the videos. Now, as I had talked about the global connection, if you're teaching the same class type of content as one of your fellow colleagues, you guys can also collaborate on building these playlists and channels. So you both could be adding these resources that each other could use and that students could use. So this can be a team effort if you'd want to collaborate with different colleagues in your department or across the campus. We talked about creating or looking for videos no longer than 10 minutes, providing practice activities. We've covered that. And we've talked about having you watch them for quality and appropriateness. This last couple pieces of advice: don't search for videos to replace your lessons. Search for or create the videos that are going to complement or support your lessons, so that you have more time to actually work with the students to make sure they can apply the skills that they're learning. Link or embed video whenever possible to avoid the copyright concerns. So what's nice about getting your video from somewhere like YouTube is the fact that you can just link to it or embed it into something like Western Online, and you're never having to download it. So you're never taking ownership over of that. It's always just linked to where you got it. So you don't have those copyright concerns. So that's also a really nice thing for being able to use video from something like YouTube. Okay. Do you guys have any questions before I jump into the actual YouTube? Okay.
You answered my
I-
question, actually. I was thinking about the copyright issues. But
Yeah,
you said as long as we don't download the material, then just to provide the link.
right.
And,
Right. You're not going to be downloading it or modifying it in any way if you're just linking to it or embedding it.
Yeah.
The nice thing about YouTube, when you get ready to share out a video through the link or the embed code, you can actually tell it where you want that video to start playing from.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're
Yeah.
able to kind of crop the beginning off without changing it. So you still are not in problem with copyright. The other nice thing is if you were to start using Google Slides, then you can control it at both ends. So when you put a video, when you put a link to a video into a Google presentation, you can say at what point you want it to start and at what point you want it to stop.
Okay.
So you can get some of those really long videos down to just a couple minutes of what you want to show. And that's another thing that I can give you guys some one-on-one instruction in or help you out with. But that's really pretty cool because you're not changing the video at all, and the copyright is not being bothered because you're just doing that through YouTube. So that's a really nice feature. Okay, so I have jumped into YouTube here, and basically I'm just going to be walking you through some different things that you can do in there. I have provided you a handout on this that goes step by step through what I'm going to be showing you, and I'm going to look off of my handout so I kind of go in order. Sometimes I can get off of the order. One thing that I will let you know is that YouTube is currently doing a new design of their creator studio, and it's in beta. It's called YouTube Lessons, I believe, or something like that. I'll get to that. My handout goes with the current version, which is the creator studio. I'll be updating the handout when they actually release this new one, but it is in the new format, and you have to click to go back to Creator Studio. So when we get there, I'll be showing you that. But just know that they're working on a new release of the actual Creator Studio, which is what you typically use when you're uploading your own videos. Okay, so first off, you all have an account to YouTube. It's part of your WIU Apps for Education. So that means all of your students also have an account to YouTube. So when you go to youtube.com, you're just going to go up to the right-hand corner and click sign in. Now, if you're already signed in to your Gmail or your calendar, you're already going to be signed into YouTube. But if you're not, you're just going to go ahead and click sign in. And yes, this is my Dawn Suite account. Because I'm already signed in, I didn't have to put my username or password in because I'm already in my email somewhere. It works with any browser. I recommend using it with Chrome because it's a Google product and Chrome is the Google browser, so it's going to work a little bit better in there, most likely. If you're going to use another browser, I'd probably recommend Firefox. So those would probably be your two best browsers to use. Getting into YouTube, there are a lot of menus that you probably don't typically know about because typically you're probably used to just coming to YouTube and searching for some videos to use. So I'm going to take you over to the left-hand side, or I'm sorry, it's the right-hand side. You're going to see your specific settings under the menu under your name to the right. So that's where you're going to see your channel, any paid memberships that you do. This is what they're calling the Creator Studio now. They're calling it YouTube Studio Beta. So later I'll show you when you get in there how you can turn that back to the old one. But that's where that's linked. You've got your sign out. So this is all mainly going to be pertaining to you and your account, okay? Over on the left, you have a drop-down menu. So you'll have these 3 lines to the top. You'll click on them, and that will bring down your menu. that allows you to see all the different channels that you subscribe to. It shows you your library of the different playlists that you've created and the different channels that you subscribe to. So this is more kind of like your playlists in your library, whereas over here you have more your actual account information and preferences, okay? So the first thing that we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys how to set up your channel, okay? So when you set up your channel, you're basically making kind of this front page that you can share with others, with your students, and it gives them a look and you a look of all of the different things that you are watching on YouTube or the different interests that you have. So to create your channel, you would go to your right-hand side menu under your icon, and you would choose My Channel, okay? I've already created my channel. So for you, you would have the ability to start creating your channel. And it would basically take you through. And the first thing it's going to do is ask you who you're using YouTube as, and you're going to put your information in there. And then it may ask you to go and confirm in an email. It just depends if you've been on here before. So you may get something that says that you need to go in and confirm your account. But once you've clicked the Create Channel button, you're then going to be in this preview. So it'd be in the channel editor. So you would be into something that looks kind of like this. Yours is just going to be plain because you're not going to have anything in there yet. But within here, you're able to go in, you can change your profile icon, you can change your banner. So if you wanted to have like a WIU type banner so you could distinguish this from your personal account, you could do that. You basically would just go in and click on the little pencil icon and choose Edit Channel Art. And that would let you go in and choose. So if you go to the gallery, that would give you different pictures provided by YouTube. If you go to upload photos, you could upload your own banner and it gives you the recommendations for the size. So 2560 by 1440 would be the size. Chad is actually doing a workshop on how to create banners for Western Online. And so that would be something else you could use to create banners for this if you wanted to do that. And they have a little tutorial down here on how to create the channel art. You can also just upload a photo that you may have on your computer. So I could go in, yeah, I don't have the right size there. It has to be the right dimensions or the right size. So my pictures were too small. But if you have a large background picture that you've downloaded from the internet, you could upload that and make that be your banner art as well. The pencil icon here where it says edit links, you can go in and add links or edit the links for your channel. Right now it's just showing Google Plus on mine. I must not have had any other. That's something I really haven't done anything with, is my links on there. So I'd really need to learn a little more about that. But that's how you can edit your channel art and change that. If you want to add a section of content, so down here you have your content area. So this shows the content in your particular channel. So these sections could be a variety of different things. You could have a section for each class. If you wanted to, you could have a section for different topics that you're interested in. If you, let me think. If you're a sponsor for a student organization, you could have a channel for that or a section for that. So to add a section, you just click and say add section. And then you go in and choose different content. So when we talk about creating playlists, you can actually choose playlists that you've created to put in that section. So this is, again, just a way to organize all of your videos. You can do a custom grouping. There are different things you can do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a section. I'm gonna say created playlist, and I'll go ahead and leave it a horizontal layout, which means it goes left to right. And so that would go in and it would add a section that has playlists that I've created. Okay, so it automatically adds all of the playlists that I've created. If I go back up to content and I say custom grouping, then I could go in and choose a video just from specific channels. So if I wanted to go in and say Western Illinois University, see if it'll bring it up without the URL. I'd have to actually go out and get the URL of the channel that I want, but then I could go in and put in just channels that I want to have in there. So you can change the type of playlist or the type of content you want to have in there by whatever you choose in that menu. So I'm going to go ahead and call this, see, please choose a type of content. Okay. I'll do single playlist. And let's see, I'll do a playlist that I want to use. Let's say we're going to do things to do in WI or Macomb. So I'll go ahead and choose that and I'll click done. And now I have that content. So now you would see the playlist in that particular section. Okay, so that's how you would add a section to, technically, I like to call this like my front page. Okay, so they're only going to see things that come into this front page. You don't have to put everything out there. So right now it's for returning subscribers. If I click for new visitors, they get basically a channel trailer. So you can actually set up a trailer for your channel. So it could be something like an introduction to yourself, what your YouTube channel is for, who it's for, what type of content they can expect to find there. If you're going to use this specifically for students, you could even throw the things in there about how to interact with the videos and how to engage with that. So for new visitors, they will get this channel trailer that you basically create if you want to explain what your channel is about. So beyond the channel, we're going to talk about how you can go in and create different playlists. But first, we're going to just talk about how you can find videos that you want to find. So right now, probably you guys have both searched for videos on YouTube before, right? And Thomas, y'all have done that?
Yep.
Okay. So,
Good.
okay. Good deal. So we all know about going to the search bar and typing in Western Illinois University, for example, and clicking search. And then it goes out and it finds us all these results, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. You can actually go down and click on this filter icon. And if you click on the filter icon, you could do only videos from the last hour. So if you want the most up-to-date video, you could go through the type. So if you're looking for a single video, you could click video. But if you're looking for the actual channel for Western Illinois University, you could click channel. And that's going to go in and narrow that search. So it's going to show me, okay, well, here's a Western Illinois University channel. Here's WIU School of Music, News 3. So when you do channel, you can go down then and see all the channels that might have something to do with Western Illinois University. Whereas if you go back to that filter, you can say, oh, I want just video. And then it's going to show you all the video that you might find related to Western Illinois University. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it set to video. And I'm going to say within this week. So I've got this week video. Now I can go in and say, well, you know, I want videos less than 4 minutes because I don't want long videos. Now, sometimes that may get rid of some of the quality videos, so you may not want to do that. But you could start out with that. You say, well, I need something shorter than 4 minutes. That's going to give you the videos that are shorter than 4 minutes. Features, you want something that's already transcribed or already closed caption. You could say, I need something with subtitles and closed captioning. Oh, there is nothing. That's scary. So you could also do that. You could take off the 4 minutes and say, oh, is there anything? No. You can also do sort by upload date, because that's important. You want things that are new. So you could do upload date, and it would put the newest first in there. So there are a variety of different ways that you can go in and narrow these searches down. So you're just not going through a plethora of video, right? So you can go in and change all of these different settings in your search to kind of narrow down what you have to look through. Okay, had you guys done that before?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, I have done, but just mostly the date, uploaded date.
The date.
Yeah, usually if I'm looking for a news something, you know, I want to see something like our recent win over Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
Our football team, they won the game last weekend. I just did the search quickly and the last hour, and I saw the short clip.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. This just lets you get a little bit more in there.
Detail, yeah.
Now,
do you suggest like a high definition or something? Is that important? Do you think?
the what? The high definition?
Yeah, quality of the video.
It just depends on what you're showing. I mean, if it's something you want to be able to bring up in the classroom on a big screen, then high definition may be very important to you. But if it's something that's a small video and you're just posting to the web, that wouldn't probably be so important.
Yeah.
Just depends what you're going to do with it. So that's filtering. And the next thing is subscribing to actual video channels. So I don't know how much you guys do that, but you can subscribe to video channels, and then you'll get updates in YouTube when the newest content is available, and that's what'll start filtering in to your main page when you come to YouTube. So it'll show you suggested videos and that type of stuff, and it'll give you stuff that's coming to that channel. So down here in my left-hand column, you see where I have subscriptions. So I went ahead and did an example of subscribing to NPR Music. So when something new comes up to NPR Music, I'm going to get a notification. Okay, so just like if you subscribe to a podcast, if you're familiar with that, you're going to get updates when there's new video. So WGEM News, I see a 1 next to that. So there's a new video out there that I haven't seen. Okay, so it's in there and I can go in and look at it. So I'm going to show you guys how to subscribe to a channel right now. I'll just do this KHQA Sports. So if I wanted to subscribe to their 10 p.m. sports, and that's in there, I could go in and I could go down here to where it says subscribe. And now when I go back into my YouTube page, I'll now see under subscriptions, I'm subscribed to KHQA. So you can look and see, you know, any of your organizations in your field that might have YouTube channels, you can subscribe to those. Something that's also nice is I can teach you guys in another workshop how to actually create a widget and embed a channel. So if you wanted to have in your Western Online basically like a widget that'll do current events so that you have current NPR stories, or you have current stories coming from one of your different bodies in your field, you could build that right in where the videos would just be coming in to get their, you know, get them looking at what's the most current news in your field. So you can do that as well. If you subscribe to some of these channels, that's going to help you stay up on the latest video content that's coming out, and it'll give you another way of seeing something that you might want to use in your courses. So it's easy to do. Just go and find a channel that you like and click subscribe. Unsubscribing is also easy. So if I click back on KHQA, and I go back to their website, see where it says subscribed at the top, I can just click on that and I can choose unsubscribe, and then that will unsubscribe me. So it's really easy to unsubscribe after you have subscribed to something. So you can go out searching for video, but you can also subscribe to these channels, which is automatically going to push new video to you in areas of interest that you might have. So next, we're going to talk about how you can save and organize and share your videos and playlists. So the first thing that you can do, probably the most common thing, is start to make playlists for videos that you want. So I had done one yesterday. I'm just gonna do Macomb, Illinois, and see what comes up. And I've got all kinds of different videos here, okay? So I'm wanting to make myself a video playlist about things to do in Macomb, or places to see. Let's call it that, places to see in Macomb. So I find this video of Argyle Lake, we'll say surrounding area. So I'm wanting to create this playlist, and I'm wanting to start collecting videos about things to do or see around Macomb. So I say, oh, this is kind of a neat video, you know, to see it in the winter. So I can go down here, and you're gonna see this little plus button that comes up under the videos once you click into them. It's very small. Are you guys able to see this right now, what I'm pointing to? So I can click on that, and I can go in and I can save it to one of these video channels or playlists that I've already made, or I can go down and choose create new playlist. So I'm gonna click create new playlist, and I'm gonna put the name to the playlist here, things to do and see around Macomb, Illinois. And for this particular playlist, I don't care who sees it. It can be public. But if I were creating something for class and I only wanted my students to see it, I could make that unlisted. And then I would be giving them the link. I'm gonna leave it unlisted because that might be most like what you're gonna do. So I'll leave that set to unlisted, and I'll click create. So now I'll have that playlist and that video will be in it. So if I go back over here to this menu and I go down to my library, I see that things to do around Macomb is at the top of my playlist because it's the most recent playlist that I've created. So now I've clicked on that, I have my playlist, and I can see that I have one video in there. Well, I want to add something else. Okay, so I know that there's this video, WIU walking tour. So I'm gonna click on that, and then I can go ahead and click on WIU walking tour. I can go down to my playlist button, and I can say, okay, I've already got this in some playlists, but I want this to go into my things to do and see around Macomb as well. So you can have a video in more than one playlist, right? You can put it multiple places. So if I go back over here, and I go to my playlist, I bring that, now I have 2 videos in my playlist, okay? So you build your playlist just by going in and finding videos that you wanna add, or bringing in videos of your own, which I'll show you in a minute.
Okay.
So now I have this playlist with my 2 videos in there. So what I might wanna do next is I might wanna be able to share this playlist with my students, okay? So what I have to do is I have to click on the playlist from the library to get to it. And then I need to be able to go over here and click the edit button. Okay, so once I click the edit button, that's gonna bring me into my settings for this playlist. I can add a description for my playlist, which would tell them what they're gonna find in this playlist. You would have probably a better description, but just to show you, you can type in there. You also have an add videos button, so you can actually just click add videos and do a search from right here. You could choose videos from your YouTube videos that you've already uploaded, or you could type in a specific URL if you know the URL of the video. You can also go in and click on playlist settings. So with the playlist settings, you can change the privacy and the ordering. So with ordering, if you leave it manual, it's going to be the way that you had set it up. If you do date added newest, it's going to put the newest video that you add to the playlist on top. Oldest would be the oldest video on top to the newest. Most popular would be the one that's watched the most on the playlist. And then date published, newest or oldest would be when it was published. So by published, we mean if you're using some other person's video, it's the date they put that video on YouTube, not the date you added it to the playlist. Date added is when you added it to the playlist. Date published is when they put it on YouTube. also how old it is. You could do set as official series for this playlist. So basically, we're not part of being eligible for a series because it has to contain only your videos, okay? Allowing embedding. So if you want to be able to let someone embed this on their own site or in their own course, you would click this button. If you do not want them to be able to do that, you would unselect that button. Auto add basically lets you add search parameters, and then any video that it would find that it thinks matches those, it's going to add it to your playlist automatically, okay? And then collaborate, as I had said, you could have other faculty collaborate with you to build playlists. You could even have your students collaborate with you to build a playlist. So you can turn on collaborators can add videos, and then you get a link and you send that out to them. And when they go to that link, they can accept, and then they are also able to add videos just to this playlist. Okay, so you can add the collaborators. The other thing you can do here is your sharing. So when you click on share, you're not sharing just one video, you're going to be sharing the entire playlist, okay? So what you can do is you can take this link and copy it, and you can put that into your Western Online course in an announcement or in a content folder, or you could send it out via email, or you can actually embed it. So if you copy this embed code, you can embed it in a web page or in your Western Online class. I'm not going to walk through the steps of how to put it in your Western Online class today because that's a bit different workshop, but I am going to go here and click on my homepage, and I'm just going to show you what it looks like when you put a YouTube playlist in your Western Online course. So this is my front page, and this is a widget that I have. You could also put this on a content page. It doesn't have to be on the front page. But in here, you're going to notice that I have a playlist set up. So I see one video in there, but when I click here, I see all of the different videos that are in that playlist, and I can go to them and watch them. So that's how you can add a YouTube playlist to your Western Online using the embed code. So you can create these videos that go with a lesson. So maybe you have a lesson on a particular math topic, and they need to have 4 tutorials for that math topic. You can create a playlist on YouTube dedicated to that math topic, and then you could embed that right into here so they have the 4 right in front of them. Perfect. In a list. Yeah. So that's something you can do with playlists, being able to set that content up and then share it. Otherwise, you know, you can go into Western Online and you can add the 4 videos, but what's nice about this, when you add a new video to this playlist, it's automatically going to be updated in your Western Online, right? Mm-hmm. You're not going to have to take that video out and put it back in, if that makes sense.
Send them any sort of alert to let
So that's nice. And then also, it's not a big file that you're trying to fight with and upload to Western Online. You're not worried about copyright. It's all just embedded, okay? They don't have to download the video. They don't have to have a special player. It's all online. So that's how you create and share a playlist. The next thing we're going to talk about is what do you do when you want to be able to bring up your own video. So you want to be able to add your own video to YouTube. Has anybody, Thomas, have any of you guys ever added your own video to YouTube?
No. Oh, no.
No? Okay. When you want to add your own video to YouTube, you're going to go up towards the right-hand side of your page, and you're going to see a little camera with a plus icon. There are 2 ways of getting video in here. You can upload video that you've created previously. You can also go live. So you can do a live feed here on YouTube. So if you click go live, you're going to be doing a live video. So you guys know if you use Facebook, and I don't know if you do, but if you use Facebook, you know there's a feature on there for going live. It's similar. You can do a live recording into your YouTube channel. Today, we're just going to play around with the uploading video. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to the camera and I'm going to click upload video. And it's going to ask me which files I want. And right here, it's automatically going to say, do you want public, unlisted, private, or scheduled? Scheduled means it's going to release it at a certain date. I'm going to go with the unlisted. Just know that you can always go in there and change your privacy setting. You can always go in and change that. So then I just click on the arrow to upload my video, and it's going to bring me to my desktop, and it's going to ask me which one I want to upload. So I'm just going to take a video that I have. I don't want to use that. I'll use this one. I don't really know what it is. It's okay. It's probably just a test video. So I'll go ahead and click open, and it's going to start doing an upload, and then it's going to say that it's processing. So you're kind of stuck here until it's done. This is a very short video, so it won't take very long. The longer the video, the longer it's going to take for it to upload and process. You'll just have to let that go. While you're waiting on it to upload, you can go in and basically put in a title, a video description, and you can put in tags. So if you want other people to be able to search your video and find it, you can put in tags. So you could put in WIU, you could put in Macomb, anything that someone might search for that you would want your video to come up as a search result. You can tag it, okay? If you're gonna have an unlisted video, you really don't need to do tags. That would just be if you're gonna have a publicly searchable video. Translations, if you want to be able to try to have YouTube translate it into another language, you could go in and select that language and try and set that up. I have not tried to do that personally. If anyone wants to try, I'm more than happy to try it and see what happens at a later time. And then you're going to have some advanced settings. In your advanced settings, you can choose if you want to allow comments. So that might be nice if you want your students to critique a video, or you want them to be able to go in and say, well, I still don't quite understand this. You can allow them to add comments so that you have a kind of a discussion going right under your video. You can go in and choose what types of videos you want to show when you're able to go in and add them to your playlist, and you can put that on there, and that's your comments. I'm sorry. Comments would be show all except potentially inappropriate or approved. So comments would mean if you choose approved, you have to go in and approve those. If you do all except potentially inappropriate, that would be, it would look for bad words basically. Otherwise, all. If you're doing this and you're only sharing it with your class, you should be pretty safe to say all, but that would be your choice. Sort by comments would be newest first, would put the newest comment first. That's what I would probably set it as. Users can view ratings for this video if you have people rating it. License and ownership. Again, standard YouTube license. This is for your ownership to show who owns the video when you're uploading something. Syndication, we aren't doing anything with. Caption certification. So basically, this is just saying that it has not ever aired on television. So it's not a television program. Options for distribution. Do you want to allow other people to embed your video? Do you want to publish subscriptions feed and notify subscribers that this video has been added? Okay, so those are all going to be for sharing. Age restrictions, if it needs to be, 14 plus or 13 plus, you can add that. What category does it fall under? You could choose education or whatever it goes with. What's the language? English. Contributions. So if you want to allow others to go in and be able to closed caption your video, you could do that. Allow viewers to contribute translated titles, descriptions, and subtitles. That would allow anyone who uses your video to go in and add the closed captioning if you do not. If you're going to do that yourself, you may not want to turn that on. Okay. This just allows you to put in the recording date of the video so they know when it was created. Otherwise, it's just going to do the published date, which is today when you publish it. Video stats will allow people to see how many people have watched it. So again, that's more for if you're making this a public video. And then content declaration would be if it's a paid promotion, you would click that. So those are all of your different advanced settings for each individual video that you put up. Now we can see that it's still processing, but it says click done to confirm. So I'm going to go ahead and click done, and it's going to finish here in a minute. And then I will see a little example of what my video looks like on the web. It's probably just a picture of me sitting at my desk, but we'll see what it is. Any questions about uploading your video? Pretty easy?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Looks good.
Go ahead and click here. It's still being processed. So if you see that, you'll notice that it's still being processed. There was 5% left to go. And again, that processing is just going to be however long your video is. It's going to take, the longer the video is, the longer the processing is going to take. So sometimes you actually have to leave and come back. You can leave this window and it's still going to come back. It's not going to go away at this point. So that is basically adding your video to YouTube. I'm going to go in now and just show you the little bit of stuff you can do in the video creator, which is kind of the editor for your own videos. So again, to get to that, I'm going up here under my picture from YouTube. Let me get back here. And I'm going to what they're now calling YouTube Studio Beta, but it's actually called the Creator Studio. I'm going to go back here. And when I click on that, it's going to take me into this new studio. If I don't want to use this beta, if you want to follow my handout, you can go to the bottom and choose Creator Studio Classic, and that will take you back to the actual current version of this and get you out of the beta. Okay. So now that I'm in here, just to show you some different things that I can do, clicking on this allows you to go in with the right hand arrow and do subtitles. So if I click subtitles, I'm not going to show you how to do this today, but that's where you can basically listen to the video and you can go in and you can add your own subtitles to this. So you can go in and create new subtitles or closed captioning, and it'll give you the window so that you can play and type in the captions for this video. If you guys want to learn how to do that, again, that's something I can do one-on-one, or maybe eventually we'll have a workshop on it. It's pretty simple. You just listen to it and you type it, and then you hit plus, and then you type the next one as it goes. So that would be how you would add your particular video subtitles. Let's see, if we wanted to change the info and settings, this will take us back so you can change the title or you can change the description. You can change the URL. You can set a custom thumbnail. So if you want a certain part of the video to be what shows up in front, that's what you can set there. Next, you have your enhancements. So if you go into your enhancements, you can do blur faces. So if you don't want people's faces showing, you can set it to blur out the faces. So if you have a video and you don't want them to see your face, you can go in and do that. Currently, this is still processing, so it takes a little bit before that comes on, but you can select all faces and have them blurred. So if you had something with children or with students and they don't want to be seen, you can blur those faces. Let's see. You can save it as a new video so that it doesn't mess up your original video. You can also go in and trim your video. So this is video you've uploaded. If you need to cut the beginning of a video off, you can go in and then you can click trim and it will take out parts of your video. So you can do that. Audio. Say that you've uploaded maybe a picture montage and you're wanting some music to go behind it. If you create that in something like iMovie and you've used a piece of copyrighted music and you upload that to YouTube, YouTube is going to send you a message and strip that audio out because it's going to identify that it was copyright music. So you're going to get a message about that. You can add audio right within YouTube. So if you have something like that, you could go in and use any of the audio from the YouTube audio library behind that. That would be royalty-free music that you can use in your video. So if you run into that particular situation, come into the editor and then go in and choose some of this free audio. That's also good if you ever assign video projects to your students to know that that's there, to let them know that they have that option. End screen and annotations. So if you wanted to be able to add like a ending screen to that, you can go in and do that, and you can say, okay, when the video ends, like you want it to go to this particular subscription or you want it to go to this channel, you can have it go where you want it to at the end of the video. Cards I've never used, so that would be new for me. It must put something in the video. So it must lay something over the video that they can click on. So promote a channel, ask for a donation, do a poll. So that's going to lay something. Poll might be kind of neat. So you could create a poll. Is it cold in Macomb today? We could say yes, or we could say no. And we can create the card. And so at the very beginning of that video, wherever my cursor was placed, I should have a card. So I'm going to move it. I want to move it too far in or it'll take a long time to get there. I'll move it to 50 seconds. So when we get to 50 seconds, that poll should come up. And it looks like you can only use 5 of them in a particular video. I'm going to try and speed through that a little bit. Are we still playing? Okay.
It's coming, I think. Yeah.
So possibly.
Good.
Save that. Trying to think of if I have to actually open that up and play it. I'm not seeing it come up. Get out of the full view. Click here. Cards is a newer feature. How viewers interact. When a viewer is watching a video, they'll see a teaser for the time that you designate. When the teaser isn't showing, viewers can hover over the player or the desktop whenever the player controls showing on a mobile device. So you maybe only see those on mobile devices. I will have to learn more about those and add that information to my handout because that is a newer feature. But it looks like it's allowing you to lay an interactive piece in there. So I'll try to get that information to you guys before I do my second workshop in this series, so I can share it at that one. And then the final one is just the subtitles and captions that I had already showed you about. So while there's not a ton of editing you can do right within YouTube, there are some things that you are able to do right within YouTube to your videos. The final things that I'm going to show you, and I know we're just a little bit past time, is how to delete a video. So if you go back to your main page on your Creator Studio and you click on videos, you're going to have a ... menu, and you click on it, and then you could go down and click delete. So I don't want this one up there, so I'm going to choose delete. You have to go in and say, I understand, this will be gone, it won't come back, and then click delete video, and that's going to get rid of that for you. If you want to delete one of your actual playlists, you're going to have to get out of the Creator Studio. So what you're going to do is you should be able to just go back out to your regular YouTube, and you can do that by either clicking your back arrow or just going back to youtube.com. That'll bring you back out. If you go into a playlist and you want to be able to make a change to that playlist, let me think about this for a minute. You can actually go into your editing options. And I think I have to get back. Get back to my home. Those are my subscriptions. Here are my playlists. So within my playlist, I can actually go up here and I can choose delete playlist. So typically where you see this ... more menu, that's where you're going to be able to click and do a deletion of things that you don't want in your YouTube channel.